Hello, my name is Tim O'Brien. I'm your host and author for Microsoft.NET for COBOL Programmers, 3rd edition. In this course, we'll introduce you to Microsoft Visual Studio 2005, the .NET Framework, and Fujitsu's NetCOBOL for .NET. But before we begin, I'd like to cover a few preliminary items about this course. This course was designed to be an introductory course for COBOL programmers that are making the transition from other platforms to the .NET world. This course is not intended to be a replacement for instructor-led classroom instruction, so if you need more training, advanced training, mentoring, or consulting assistance, please contact your Fujitsu sales representative. One other thing, you should view this training course at 1024 by 768 screen resolution or better. It's also a pretty good idea to go ahead and go to the Windows website, their update site, and download any patches or updates for your operating system. And finally, you're the most important evaluator of this training course. Fujitsu Computer Systems and I value your opinions and your criticism. We would like to know what you think we're doing right, and more importantly, what you think we can do better. If you have any comments on this course, please send them to cobol@netcobol.com. On behalf of myself and Fujitsu Computer Systems, thank you for watching this course, and we hope you enjoy it. Now, let's get to work. In Lesson 1, Microsoft.NET Technology Overview, we'll begin with an introduction to Microsoft.NET. There are a total of 2 blocks of instruction in Lesson 1. In the first block of instruction, we'll begin with some overview and background topics so that you have a high-level understanding of the technology. In the second block, we'll continue with building the foundation, key concepts. In this block, we'll get a high-level understanding of some important topics and terminology that are essential for subsequent lessons. In Lesson 2, you'll be introduced to Microsoft Visual Studio 2005. Now, there are a total of 3 instructional blocks in this lesson. We'll begin with an introduction to Visual Studio 2005. In this block, you'll get an overview of the environment and get a high-level understanding of how to work in the Interactive Development Environment, or IDE. In the second block, Visual Studio Solutions and Projects, we'll build on the previous block by delving into Solutions and Projects. This particular block is pretty important because your understanding of solutions and projects is an essential skill for building applications in the Visual Studio environment. In the third block, we'll go into the editor environment. We'll tour the editor environment and go over some basic functionality so that you understand some of the more important features and functional aspects of the editor. Now, let's move on to Lesson 3, Adding to the Foundation, Microsoft.NET. In this lesson, we'll delve deeper into the functional aspects of Microsoft.NET. There are 2 instructional blocks in this lesson. This lesson builds on the foundation of previous lessons in this course. In the first block, Application Building Blocks, we'll continue with a more detailed discussion of .NET application components and how they relate to each other. In the second block, .NET Infrastructure and Components, we'll continue to build up your knowledge of .NET. In Lesson 4, Introduction to NetCOBOL for .NET, we'll get our first look at the Fujitsu compiler and how it's integrated with Microsoft Visual Studio 2005. There are 2 blocks of instruction in this lesson. In the first block, we'll have a brief introduction to Fujitsu Computer Systems NetCOBOL for .NET product. In the second block, we'll start using the NetCOBOL product. This block of instruction builds on previous lessons in this course. In Lesson 5, we'll continue to get more experience with .NET and NetCOBOL for .NET with Windows Forms. There are 2 blocks of instruction in this lesson. In the first block, Introduction to Windows Forms, we'll discuss the Windows Forms technology, some critical application development terms, and actually build up a Windows Forms program. In the second block, we'll get a look at how to create event-driven code. Lesson 6 is the Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming, and there's only 1 block of instruction for this lesson. Now, in looking at the topics, I can well imagine that you'll come away with the feeling that this particular lesson will be reasonably challenging. Fear not. This is an introduction, and I make every effort to describe all of these topics so that they are easily understandable. In Lesson 7, Data Layer, we'll discuss how you hook up your COBOL programs to various types of data. There is one block of instruction in this lesson. We'll start out real easy with a review of standard COBOL I/O, but with a twist. We're going to do so in an object-oriented COBOL program. We'll then move on to how File I/O works with .NET, ODBC, and finally ADO.NET.